because of me, everyone now sees that the Republican primary system is totally rigged and broken. When two candidates who have no path to victory, they have no path, they're mathematically out. They ought to quit so we can all get together, we can all unify, and we can all go against crooked Hillary Clinton and beat her. Really, really beat her big league.
Your phone calls and comments, short, sweet, and to the point. Moments away at 1-877-Newsmax. But first, Ted Cruz and John Kasich have finally decided the only way they can defeat the dastardly Donald is join forces, sally forth hand in hand, arm locked together in their resolve to save the Republican Party. And while some are applauding their efforts, others are wondering why they and so many others have been in a political coma since the moment Trump burst onto the scene. That, the fate of Bernie supporters, much more. We dive headfirst into the political animal, hoping that we are choosing the end of the pool that has the most water in it, of course. He is the former boss at FEMA, now dealing out common-sense conservative commentary every weekday afternoon, 6:30 KHOW in Denver, Colorado, Michael Brown. He is the current senior political contributor at Forbes, co-host of Steele and Ungar weekday afternoons, Sirius XM POTUS 124, where he deals in common-sense liberal commentary. Rick Ungar. Take a breath, gentlemen. Thanks so much for joining us. And here we go. All right, Michael, I got to begin with you on this one here because Ted Cruz and John Kasich are together, and within 12 hours, the whole thing seems to fall apart. Look, can we just say that this might be the most ham-handed foolishness we have seen in a presidential race in our lifetimes?
Yes. Next question.
Okay. Would you care to go a little bit farther on that, my friend?
Well, I got to tell you, look, this whole idea of, look, I'm going to save resources and you go do this and you go do that. Look, it's insanity, but we shouldn't be surprised by any of this because this is the way this has gone. It's one day we swerve one direction, the next day we swerve another. So I don't think we're really going to know. I don't care what Donald Trump says about math. The math says we may not really know until June 7th, and that's just the way it might be.
So, Rick, from the side of looking at this dispassionately, which I'm going to ask that you do here as well, in your commentator's role, if you will, does this not just basically, this is great for the Democrats right now. You see, they're going, come on, you guys just keep fighting it out. Go ahead, have a grand old time and do this. We'll just sit back and wait for the votes to come our way, despite the fact that there seem to be fewer people voting on the Democratic side in this little year that we're going through.
It doesn't have a big impact. Remember, the Democrats have their own little fight going on, another one that's basically been resolved, but they keep fighting anyhow. Listen, when you get past the primaries, when you get past the conventions, everybody hits that giant reset button in the sky, and it all starts over again. So there's silliness to go around everywhere.
So on that reset button in the sky then, Rick, there are now Bernie Sanders supporters considering where to turn if and when he fails. Well, it seems kind of obvious. Don't they automatically go to Hillary Clinton? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more?
Well, not automatically, but they'll get there. I mean, it's not like we haven't seen this before. As Hillary will be the first to tell you, in 2008, she had a pretty big job to turn her voters over to Obama. But for the most part, they got there, I should say, and they'll get there this time, especially if they have Donald Trump to run against.
All right, little time left here. Back to you then, Mr. Brown. Donald Trump talking about the transgender bathroom access in North Carolina. First he said, well, it's no big deal. Then he said, well, let the states deal with it right now. Okay, to you then. Is he just playing the game here? Is he just trying to curry favor with liberals at this point? Does he really have an actual opinion on this?
No, I don't think he has an opinion at all. I don't think he's thought about this. I think this is the way he runs the entire campaign. Throw a question at him. The last thing that he heard is the first thing out. You know, there's no rule about first in, first out, or first in, last out. In this case, it's the first in, first out. Whatever he's heard last is what he's going to repeat. I just don't think the man, with all due respect, has any core political values. He doesn't have any core conservative principles. So he just mouths off the last thing that he heard.
30 seconds, Rick. Would any Democrats then say, well, look, Donald Trump he might actually be a good candidate here because he's going along with how we want things?
Well, I don't think that the transgender bathroom issue is going to be decisive in this election, but I give Trump some credit. He actually gave the right answer. You know, everybody's making way too big of a fuss out of this. Ted Cruz has said some really stupid things that if you take 15 seconds to logic it out, you see that that's the case. good for Trump for speaking honestly for once.
And is it not fair to say, I mean, Bruce Springsteen said he wouldn't go to North Carolina, but now Demi Lovato and Nick Jonas have canceled their concerts in North Carolina. Guys, this is it.
Fresh.
I mean, we have just reached the end of society as we know it. I know you're all upset, aren't you, Mike? You're all upset.
I'm telling you what, to think that we're even talking about this in the context of a presidential campaign drives me crazy.
Gentlemen, stay in your comfortable seats. Beverage of your choice. We slide ever so craftily and easily into the Tuesday lightning round, which means it's your call. I think it's a fair point, at least, with Lovato and Jonas. Will the Cruz Kasich gathering of minds and intelligence give them the push they need to beat Donald Trump, or did they start this effort too little and too late? Barbara B. in Colorado, are you up first in the lightning round? Go.
Yes. Hello?
Yep, go ahead, Barbara.
Yes, I think two idiots don't make a right.
Why do you call them idiots? They're politicians. They're trying to get elected.
The point is, they're supposed to be Republicans. They're going to blow this Republican Party apart. Donald Trump, you talk about he don't know this, he don't know that. Well, you know what? He's going to surround himself with the people that do know.
You're sure about that, right? You're sure about that? He's going to surround himself with the right people. Absolutely, no doubt. Okay, Barbara, thanks a lot for the call. Sue B., North Carolina, 30 seconds. Sue, it's to you next.
Oh, I think Mr. Trump's, he'll do better with those guys doing that. And one thing Trump said was, I will do for this country what I have done.
No, but you're not answering the question.
Business.
Kasich and Cruz getting together. Do you think it's at the wrong time? Do you think they should be at least trying?
No, I think it's going to help Trump. I think it's a good
You think
thing.
it's going to help Trump? And why?
Because I think that people will see who they really are and that they will vote for Trump.
All right, there you go. I appreciate it. Sue and Barbara, we want to thank you for joining us very much. Coming up next, round two of the political animal. We will be veeping, and perhaps even Rick Ungar will be vaping to our heart's content. Did you catch that there? Veeping, vaping? You got it. Hardline continues. Stay with us. More of your comments on the Cruz Kasich debacle will be front and center momentarily. 1-877-Newsmax. First, let's get back to the second half of the political animal as we vamp on veeping. Welcome back from Forbes and Sirius XM, Rick Ungar, and from 630 KHOW in Denver, Colorado, Michael Brown. All right, to you first, Mr. Ungar. Just this morning, Bernie Sanders was asked if he could name any women qualified to run as his vice president, and here's what he said.
I think it's a little bit early to be speculating on that. But I think, as you know, there are people in life today. Elizabeth Warren, I think, has been a real champion in standing up for working families, taking on Wall Street. There are other, fantastic women who have been active in all kinds of fights who I think could make great vice presidential candidates.
I do not know who was laughing in the background there when that question was asked, but for some reason it just seemed to fit so perfectly that we're talking about this.
It was Michael Brown. I'm pretty sure.
No, look,
I would have no doubt.
Warren, I'm all for it.
If he was there. I mean, well, there you go, Rick. Now, let's just suppose here. Let's walk off in flights of fancy here. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren. Would that be a winning ticket for the Democrats?
Well, I don't actually think that Bernie Sanders is ultimately a winning ticket for the Democrats, and a vice president's not going to help. She would not. I mean, again, we're really in fantasy land here. But while she is going to be the next leader of the Democratic Party, she would not accept the vice presidency, and it's just not the right move for her. It's not going to happen.
I think she'd probably much come out and say, Bernie, I think you have it backwards, my friend, if we're going to talk about this.
I think that's right.
I really do. So, Michael, here we go. We veep on vamping here, or veeping on vamping, if you will, all the way around.
We get vaping in there,
Cruz,
too?
We could vape, too, but that'll be another. No, none of that, young man, none of that. We're healthy here on this show. Ted Cruz is now talking about vetting Carly Fiorina as a potential pick for vice president. Michael, I have a lot of respect for Carly Fiorina, but, I mean, you're trying to prove to people that you're not establishment, and then you go with someone who is establishment. This just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense.
Look, all this whole vetting process, which I've been through, is nothing but a trial balloon. It's nothing but leaking out little bits here and there. Hey, we're vetting, we're vetting Ed Berliner, we're vetting Rick Ungar, we're vetting Michael Brown, and let's see what the response is to all of that. Now, there may be a little bit of serious vetting going on, but most of this is trial balloon stuff. It goes back to Rick's point. It's fantasy land. Total fantasy land. Okay,
fantasy land here. Rudy Giuliani says Condi Rice would make a great...
Wait.
I had to throw it in and just wait for your reaction.
I gotta weigh in here. I've known Condi forever. There's no way. I'll do this. I'll promise to what? Eat a banana peel, not the banana peel on air if Condi Rice is Donald Trump's V pick. Deal.
Are you kidding? I'd rather she become commissioner of the National Football League after the mess going on now with Tom Brady.
And so would Condi. So would Condi.
So would she. You're exactly right. 30 seconds to you, Mr. Ungar. Hillary Clinton promises a 50-50 gender split in her administration's leadership. She said it to Rachel Maddow. Hey, Rick, whatever happened to hiring the best person for the job?
Well, I think I don't have a problem with her saying that, because there's no question you can get the best people for the job on a 50-50 split. There's never any one best person for a job. There are many. I don't have a problem with that.
All right, your audio is phasing out here on us right now. I think what's happened is I think Hillary Clinton maybe has come in and she said, don't you tell me what to do, Ungar. Just real quick from you, Mike. I mean, look, we're not trying to be anti-feminist here or anything, but shouldn't you still just go for the best people for the job? Male, female, makes no difference.
It doesn't make any difference. And I think that's pure pandering. I think to say I'm going to have, quotas to have a certain number of blacks and Hispanics and Asians and then women. And then how far do we go in terms of Democrat identity politics? Just hire the best people.
Don't worry about it. In the next couple of minutes, we're probably all going to be called. Somebody will say, look at these guys. They're anti-women, blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. Here we go.
Not me.
Of course not you, Mr. Ungar. Rick Ungar, Michael Brown. Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next week. Another shot into the lightning round then. 1-877 Newsmax. Are Ted Cruz and John Kasich doing the right thing, teaming up to defeat Donald Trump, or just wasting our time and your time? Because after all, isn't it all about our time, Mr. Hand? James V. from Utah. You got about 30 seconds. Go ahead, James.
What Cruz and Kasich has done, it's not going to make a difference.
Why?
Cruz is going to win.
Why? You said Cruz is going to win. Freudian slip?
No, Trump's going to win. Cruz is going to stand for the people. I'm a hardcore Republican. I've been with the establishment. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the lies. I want an outsider in there to change everything.
All right, wrong thing. There you go. Thank you, James V. Rita K. in New York, you're next up. Go for it, Rita.
All right. Thank you. Why shouldn't they come together, Kasich and Cruz? They're doing nothing illegal. The way you people talk, it sounds like they're doing something illegal, and they're not. Many people don't like Trump. 65% or more Americans, and that's a lot.
Do you realize you're the first person that has come out and said they're doing the right thing? Most people say they're doing the wrong thing.
Well, I feel that way. I feel Cruz is brilliant, as Mr. Dershowitz indicated. He was in many of his classes. It's refreshing to hear on the media someone who is giving him an A. And there are quite a lot of people out there who like Cruz.
All right, there you go, Rita. Unfortunately, we are all out of time, but we thank you very much for your comment. We're going to do a whole lot more as we move on. Hey, around the dial, a Republican who admits he is sorry he voted for Donald Trump, with a caveat. More calls next.